What's up, guys? Today let's take a look at 52 Toys Street Fighter 6 Chun-Li. Chun-Li and Ryu was released on May 21st and I got them on I think May 23rd. Yeah, these two are the second and third 112 figure by 52 Toys, and I think if you watch my 52 Toys Alien video, the reaction is sort of mixed. There's something I really like, something I'm not really fond of. And same goes for these two figures. There's something that done is pretty interesting, and I think there's some aspect of them are pretty well done, but there's others I'm not a huge fan of. So without further ado, let's take a look at the figure. So let's first take a look at the overall proportion. It is definitely less stylized compared to the, what is it, the Amazing Yamaguchi one, right? It's more accurate to the in-game model, although I still think, I don't know, she is a little bit too pale, almost look like a mannequin, and there's no shading on the muscle and skin tone, so looks a little bit cheap. And her neck also sit a bit too tight. Like if you check pretty much all the Chun-Li figure, her chin should be right about this color, right? And there's a significant range here, so her neck, it definitely sits too high. There are a couple of ways you can handle this. Either you can swap on the Amazing Yamaguchi head. Give me a second. This is the Amazing Yamaguchi Street Fighter 6 Chun-Li, and it's a seamless swap. You don't have to do any mod. See what I'm talking about? The head sit too high. Yeah, this is the correct neck length. Okay, or you can grab a hand drill, drill a little bit down. Okay, or you can, like if you have a couple of few spare net pack. The hell? There you go. For example, the Roman Key X Cow female figure net pack is also swappable. Okay, that's one thing. The gold bit is pretty nicely done though. And the face, let's take a closer look. It's not bad, it's just very plain, especially considering that Street Fighter 6 has a very, well, not very, considerably more realistic style compared to their previous game. And this is, like, to me, this is more like they take the Street Fighter 6 style into Street Fighter 4. Okay, it doesn't quite look like the Street Fighter 6 in-game model, but even though it is very, like, simple, it is well done enough. Okay, and the white on the chest is a little bit different from the rest of the white because it's a different plastic here. And another thing I want to criticize is that the sculpt work they have done on these figures are, I don't know, I think they're too flat and boring. Like, you can take a look at the Chun-Li's chest from the side. It's just a triangle. There's no shape to it. Even like at this angle between the boobs, there's almost no dip here. Let me zoom in. Yeah, just looks very simplistic, almost cartoonish, which is ironic considering this is like in-game model. Street Fighter 6 is probably the most realistic of all games. Focus, thank you. Yeah, at least the gold paint is nicely done enough. This is painted, so of course going to be have a little bit color difference. And the muscle on the arms, I think sort of minimalistic musculature on Chun-Li's arm is acceptable, but it will be an issue on, for example, Ryu. Okay, at least the blueprint, the pattern printed blue is well done enough. Okay, yeah, at least these are well done for the most part. And also the inside of the skirt is also fully painted and printed, so that's good. And the leg muscle, again, pretty minimalistic, but I guess that's okay, right? Although I do have a QC issue. Like this part of patent, like left leg, is not painted. Hopefully they'll do an exchange for me. Another thing I want to point out is that there's pretty much zero shading throughout the figure, which make this figure looks cheap. And there's also different finish on the leg. Like you can see this part is matte, and around the leg are shiny, and then lower part of the shin is also matte. Like it's not a huge deal. A full matte spray will fix it right away, but still, why does it happen? No idea. And take a look at the shoes. Again, this is painted, but because the base is black, it doesn't look very good. This is white, so it's less noticeable. So yeah, I think the overall, it's not terrible looking, but definitely doesn't look like a pretty high-end collectible. Look like maybe a 30-40 bucks figure, which, to be fair, I got her for around 30 bucks, so I can't really complain that much. But compare this to Stone Arena, it's definitely not comparable at all. All right, let's take a look at her articulation. The hair bum is on a straight peg, can rotate, of course. She can look all the way up. You don't need a hinge for that, so that's great. The neck is a double like dumbbell here and a single bolt here, okay? She can look down. Pretty good. Rotation and tilt. Like tilt could be a little bit better, but I think this is good enough. Now the shoulder is pretty interesting design. Let me pull the shoulder joint. Like the ball is here, okay, and there's a little bit pull up, and the socket is here. So I don't think like I can't remember the last time I saw a design like this. It's pretty rare design, and there's a small pull up mechanic here. You can do 360, no issue. And if you're only using the shoulder socket, she can only raise about this much. However, connecting like inside the sleeve, there's a single ball joint connected to the arms, so she can raise about this much. That's pretty great. And since this is a single ball joint, you can do all sorts of wiggles, so that's nice. And combining with all these two joints, she can, oops, you know what, I'm going to use this side. Yeah, she can cross arms, no issues, which is great considering that there's no like dedicated butterfly joint. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Okay, this side doesn't look very good. On the outside, it looks pretty decent, and from the front, doesn't look very good. And wrist ball. Okay. I also feel like this made her like shoulder a little bit too wide, but this is also the same issue on the Kyoto Amazing Yamaguchi Street Fighter 6 figure, and at least this is less exaggerated as Street Fighter, the Amazing Yamaguchi one. Now let's take a look at the diaphragm joint. Crunch forward, not bad. Crunch back, not bad. Side, also pretty good. Rotation, you can only go about this much. A bit more, like it's gonna pop. And frankly, the whole torso is a little bit too, it's not loose, but easy to pop out, okay? It's a dumbbell joint. Now let's take a look at the diaphragm joint. Oops. Like I said, it's it's not super loose, but it's a little bit easy to pop out. Crunch forward this much. Crunch back. You know what? Probably because the skirt piece is in the way. Yeah. And crunch back. Not much. Side. Not bad. And rotation 360 on the waist. So combining with two joint, she can crunch forward really good. And since like this is the correct way, so sorry, the correct combo, right? When you are crunching forward at the maximum, you need to look at the front. So this is a great combo. Looks at the back, sorry, crunch to back, side. So the torso is pretty good, to be honest, which is kind of surprising to me. And hip joint, it is just a T-shaped joint with a hollow diaper piece. She can kick forward 90 degrees. If you force it, you can kick a bit more. Okay. Oof. I'll explain how the skirt piece works during the accessory section, but yeah, there's too many interaction here that makes the hip and the hip joint a little bit easy to pop out. Back about this much. Side can't really kick to 90, but you can finagle the base of the hip joint and the side cut a little bit, so she can kick to the side a little bit better. Okay. And you know what? Get this out of the way. Get the whole thing out of the way. Easy to demonstrate that way. And the side cut is a ball joint, so there's a little bit play here, and of course rotation, although this side is very tight and creaky. Double jointed knee, great range, looks pretty nice. Like I said many times before, cut a little bit meat from the back of the side so they can fold. All right, there's a shin rotation, and the material of the flash part is really soft, so you can wiggle a bit. And ankle go all the way back, pretty far forward, which is nice considering there's a big cutout here. And ankle pivot, like this is the best ankle pivot you could ask for. Okay, that's pretty nice. And toe joint, it's not super amazing, but at least well placed and not floppy. Same goes for this side, so that's decent. So yeah, in terms of articulation, this is frankly way better than I expected. Like for me about 30 bucks, and for you guys probably around 50. This poses much better than, for example, Stone Arena, Jada, and other figures around the same price point, and probably pose as well as most of the Mayfex and SH figure, which is, like I said, a bit surprising. So yeah, let's take a look at her accessories. For head, she comes with 2 extra. One yelling head, which I think looks okay, and a close-eyed smiling head, which I think look goofy as hell. I don't like it at all. For hand, she comes with 4 extra pairs. That's pretty much all you're gonna need. For her cheap out swappable piece, you got 2 pairs. Okay, they're just inverted. The details is exactly the same. The way you swap them is you pull out the torso, hook the back piece on first, and find a front piece on. Hook the torso back on, and that's it. Since they're just loosely looped around the hip joint, the waist joint, you can rotate them and you can pull them up apart for a little bit extra room to allow the hip joint to move. Okay, nothing complicated. And then this is the kick effect piece. It's just a single piece, and it's done okay. The way you use it is it's a snug fit, and since the hip joint is pretty tight, yeah, it's pretty secure. What else? Yeah, and she also comes with one clear plastic stand. Nothing fancy there, just a typical stand. So yeah, for the price, I think this is definitely enough. Okay, let's take a look at her size comparison. Next to Amazing Yamaguchi Chun-Li, 52 Toys Ryu, and Amazing Yamaguchi Ryu. And the blue on Chun-Li's, like the 52 Toys one, is definitely more accurate to the in-game color. And Ryu, we'll talk about in another video. With Amazing Yamaguchi jewelry, Mayfax Solo Suit Superman, and Marvel Legend movie Wolverine. With Jada's Street Fighter 2 Chun-Li with the Device Driver Studio head, SH Figuarts Street Fighter 4 Chun-Li, this is X Cocoon's Street Fighter 03 Chun-Li, and Stone Collectibles Street Fighter 5 Battle Dress Chun-Li. Frankly, I'm a little bit torn on this figure. On the one hand, she does pose really well, especially for the price point. Like, you are hard pressed to find a more articulate figure, officially licensed that is, at this price point, alright? The accessories is, well, the head is not particularly good, but at least the amount of accessories is decent. Like, you get pretty much all you're gonna need. On the other hand, it's the same thing with the head. The scope work is not really good, and the paint job is like, there is paint job and what is necessary is all there, but I don't think the overall aesthetic is very good. Like, looks cheap, definitely cheaper than Stone Arena, which is here is about the same price for this figure, but overseas is much cheaper, like $20, $15, $20 cheaper. So for you guys, probably a harder choice. For me, I can live with it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.